Hello everyone, Marvel DC fan here with another first impressions video. It's been a bit since we've actually done any of these. It's been a while since I've put out any videos for that matter, and I'd like to apologize because I was not expecting to take this long of a break. There were a lot of things that kind of got in the way of that. I had some incident happen which I don't want to talk about right now. That was pretty bad. And then also I got sick for a week. It was also really terrible. I had a migraine and I had a really bad cold, and it was just the absolute worst time. So I apologize. I know I had big things planned, and I'm gonna try and get back on schedule because there's a lot of things I want to do for the summer. But in the meantime, I've thought it'd be fun if, we have a whole week's worth of content to put out. So we're starting off with a first impressions for the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I saw this a few weeks ago, or almost a month by this point now, but so I saw the new Planet of the Apes movie with my brother. I am a huge fan of the Caesar trilogy, the modern trilogy that has mostly been directed by Matt Reeves, who did the Batman, and he's probably working on other projects like Cape Crusader and whatnot. Anyway, so I was, they announced they're doing a whole thing of Planet of the Apes after Caesar's story. They were continuing on, some odd years in the future and whatnot. and so they were doing this whole thing, and I was excited. Of course, I love those ape movies. I was also a little apprehensive because it's a whole new team, and they're trying to kind of capture that magic, that trilogy had. So I mean, it's hard not to be a little apprehensive at the idea, but for the most part, I was pretty excited about it. And so I went into it pretty excited, and I want to say, for the most part, that I was not left disappointed. Actually, I think it was really good. I enjoyed myself in that movie, and I'm looking forward to what they have in store for the future and whatnot, because I think it's going to be really good. Um, Regardless, I just firstly story was pretty good. Um, it was interesting seeing how the world had developed since the time of Caesar and whatnot. There's vegetation growing on, a whole cityscape you see in the beginning of the movie. Um, you meet this tribe of apes who can communicate with falcons and such. And that was a really neat idea, just seeing how these civilizations kind of grew after, hundreds of years in the future, seeing seeing them develop, how their speech had grown. They'd still use sign language and whatnot, but they were speaking more fluently and whatnot. So that was pretty great to see. Um, and For most of the movie, I feel like there's three central, parts to it, or more so, like there's a quarter of one bit, a long stretch of um, the characters doing something, and then at the end there's a thing. But for the most part, the story, I don't want to give away spoilers or whatnot, but I enjoyed the narrative a lot. Um, it was great. As for some of the new characters you get to meet, the main character Noah, I think, is a promising start to, because it's going to be hard to have a new main character after the powerhouse that was Caesar. See, throughout that whole trilogy, with Rise, he was great. Seeing his origins and whatnot, seeing in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes how that kind of developed, him being the leader, and then in War, all the trials and tribulations he went through before his death was just incredibly exciting. So, um, but this new character Noah, I think he was. I think he was pretty. I think he was pretty good. Um, I feel like I'm gonna like as far as right now, like it was a good step forward, but I really want to see how they develop that character for like future movies and how he's gonna grow as that character. But from what I've seen, it like what I saw of the movie, it was a very promising start. Um, Also, we have Maximus Caesar, uh, played by I forget the guy's name, but he played the Blob in X Men Origins, and what a great villain! What a great performance! Just this kind of larger than life, figurehead who uses the words of Caesar, but not in the way that it was intended to. Like it reminded, like it was almost kind of it had that little bit of like Koba energy in there, but it was them kind of doing something different with that. And just a larger than life. Literally that whole weekend, just me and Swifty were going back and forth, just being like, "What a wonderful day," and just laughing about it, and having a great time with that. So Maximus, he gets my vote. He was great. One of my favorite characters uh, was Raka, also played by I forget the guy's name, but he was Bordus in the Orville, Luther and Shameless. He was great. Um, like my whole favorite character in that entire movie, and every scene that we had with him was just perfect, and uh, I just just every scene, he was just perfection. And then there was that human girl, I think, Maya May. The name's slipping, but she was really good too. An intelligent human in a time where humans had already lost their intelligence, they've all sort of regressed. So she was great. Um, Seeing that kind of conflict between her and the apes, and them kind of trusting each other in some ways, and also not in other ways, was great. And also, she's one of those characters that I'm really excited to see where her story goes, especially for those people who've seen the ending. You know what the deal is, but yeah, I think all the major characters in general were just great to see. And as far as let's talk about visual effects for a minute, because damn, this movie had some impressive visual effects. I don't think, like, I don't know. For me, it was like I don't think it was as good as like how it got in war and stuff like that. There was definitely budget put in there. It doesn't look uncanny at all, or cheap in any way or whatsoever. I think it was like almost like a kind of mixture between Rise and Dawn's visual effects, which for the most part were still pretty great. Um, so yeah, that was great. The score, I can't remember the score off the top of my head now that I'm being honest with you, um, but yeah, there was nothing out of the movie sound wise that took me out of it. Um, yeah, there were, yeah. I don't even know where to go next. I'm just gonna end it off by saying this was a really good movie that it's worth seeing in the theater at least once, and I would totally rewatch this again, on Blu-ray, DVD, streaming, whatever the case. I would totally go and uh, watch it on there again. I think this is worth watching a few times, at least twice. So by the time it does come to streaming and whatnot, I'm totally down to watch all of it again. But yeah, I'd say that's gonna be it for this video. I think next week I might make a video about Bad Boys. Um, get that ball rolling, because I just kind of like I'm gonna work on the Q&A and stuff again. But I just kind of want to like get some content out in between then, just so it's not like an empty gap, and you don't get nothing for weeks on end. But yeah, in the meantime, go watch my other videos. My Arkham City unboxing, my Arkham Shadow rant, stuff like that. Yeah, next time, take care, everyone. We'll see you then.